Hello and welcome to Take 10. I'm Jennifer Johnson. With us in the studio today is Ed Nolan, Supervisor for Mathematics Curriculum for MCPS. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
There have been a lot of changes in the math curriculum, so let's just start there. Tell me about the recent changes in math curriculum for parents to understand it.
Well, a lot of what we've been doing recently has been promoted by the Common Core state standards. We're really working on trying to make math more understandable for people, as opposed to just a bunch of set of rules that people are supposed to memorize and never remember. We really are pushing math as reasoning, math as a way to look at the world, math for understanding and for deep understanding of mathematics. So we're doing a lot more with students constructing their knowledge of mathematics on building strong foundations and then building up from that.
Because we were talking earlier before the cameras were rolling that in my day, math was taught and you memorized theories, algorithms, whatever it was, but it didn't really, I can say it didn't really stick. And I know a lot of people in my generation would say it didn't really stick. And that's changing. That whole idea and focus has changed.
And the sense of math as memorizing is what we're trying to move beyond. It's not that the algorithms are going to go away. What we want is that for people to be able to build the sense of the algorithm in their heads, to understand each step of the process along the way, so that you don't have to try to memorize the algorithms because they make sense to you. The next step is a logical sequence from what you've done. That only works if you understand the mathematics behind what you're doing. So my favorite one is the way we divide fractions. I learned it as ours is not to reason why, just invert and multiply. Right. And it wasn't anything that made sense to me. But there are models out there, number line models, area models, that we can construct using fractions to build the understanding of why it's not the fact that you have to solve it this way, but it tends to be an easier process to switch to multiplication and invert the second fraction, to build understanding why that algorithm works. Then you don't have to always worry about memorizing it because it makes sense to you. It'll be something you can pull up from your memory.
So I know a lot of parents are familiar with Curriculum 2.0. Where are you in this process? It's year 4 or so, and it started in kindergarten. So where are you now with Curriculum 2.0?
So we've rolled out from kindergarten to grade 3 our Curriculum 2.0. Now Curriculum 2.0, as it was originally intended, is an entire elementary program. So while mathematics is included, so is English language arts, social studies, health, everything's included in one package. As we start to roll that out, next year we'll be rolling out grade 4 and grade 5, so we'll be rolling out all of our elementary curriculum for Curriculum 2.0. And for mathematics, we're going to be rolling out Algebra 1. All of our curriculum at the secondary level is always being revised and updated. We now have all of our curriculum is now online, so it's constantly being updated. We're able to do that. And in mathematics and English language arts, the big emphasis behind this revision was the Common Core state standards. Science has new standards coming out shortly. Social studies has new standards coming out. World languages. So we're able to adapt our curriculum. And so we're seeing, because of this elementary integration around thinking and academic success skills, we were able to call it what we called a new way of seeing curriculum, so we've called it Curriculum 2.0.
For parents not aware of the Common Core curriculum, this is a state-mandated program, but how is it changing the way you teach mathematics or mathematics in Montgomery County?
So for mathematics, the Common Core has taken a lot of what we have known to be great ideas and put them into one piece. It has done a great job of making sure we're doing the right amount of math at each grade level at a very rigorous level. We found that even with our Montgomery County curriculum, things in the Common Core are being taught earlier to our students than they were being taught in the old Montgomery County curriculum. And it's taken what we call practices and content and pulled them together much better than we've done in the past. So the way students learn is integrated with how they learn and what they learn, so that we're building a classroom environment around making sense of mathematics.
And isn't part of that trying to bring mathematics into the social studies class and social studies into mathematics?
Trying to integrate the curriculum, trying to have math make sense. Right. And so that makes sense if you see it in the world around you. So what does the math look like for a third grader? Well, we're trying to find third grade examples of their life to bring in, not necessarily our life trying to tell it to a third grader, but what does it look like for 8-year-olds? What does math look like for 12-year-olds? What does math look like for high school kids? Bringing it to their level, bringing it into their world so it does make sense through social studies, through science, through whatever venues we can.
How is the math curriculum changing in the middle schools? Because I know there's been a lot of talk and concentration in the elementary schools, but there are constant changes in middle and high school, so let's discuss that.
Okay, so at the middle and high school level, part of it's going to be trying to integrate these wonderful classroom environments that we see at the elementary level with small group instruction, bringing those up into the secondary level, having students work in cooperative and collaborative teams on building understanding for themselves so that then they can then understand the mathematics in their own way. Looking at a lot of different models, being able to see it in multiple ways as opposed to just one way. We're trying to broaden the view of understanding, that deep understanding that they're building in elementary, doing it with that middle school content, looking at proportional reasoning, looking at two variables and how they interact together. Elementary is a lot about number, a lot about whole numbers, fractions, decimals. When we get to middle school now, we're starting to get the idea of unknowns, of variables, of how things change, of how they relate to one another. Then at high school, moving to more and more complex ideas and capturing those in the real world setting. How can we create mathematical models? All of that being what we look at the secondary level.
In terms of when you go back and assess things, with the kids, do you have a number of them at grade level, below grade level, or above grade level? Like, where are you in that whole?
Well, and here's our challenge, because the Common Core is brand new. We don't know. We haven't rolled this out before. No one's done this before. While it's research-based, no one's put this whole package together and implemented it before. We know what we have in there are good ideas. How we capture that, how we determine what grade level looks like. All of our assessments will be new. They're being completely redesigned. We have the Maryland school assessment. Right. It's going to be completely different assessments. The examples they've shown us. In this school
year?
Not in this school year. That will be in 2014-15 will be the first year we see that. So one of our challenges is we're changing the way we learn, but we're still taking the same assessments. And those assessments aren't going to match the instruction. So one of the things we're really focusing is on developing strategies for students so they can solve any problems, whether it's the MSA, whether it's the new PARC assessments that are coming out that will demonstrate readiness for college and career. All of those, they'll be able to solve any problem because they can think. That's our emphasis now, is reasoning and thinking, not memorizing particular rules.
Are the PARC assessments a state or a federal?
The PARC assessments, it's actually a collaboration of 26 different states, of which Maryland is one.
When I, as a parent, look at the math curriculum that my kids are doing, it seems so much harder than, or more difficult than what we did as kids. Is that true? I mean, is there a whole shift in raising the bar?
It is more rigorous than we did, and certainly we have a lot more students taking Algebra 1 in middle school than when I was at Belt Junior High School here in Montgomery County. It's a lot different than it used to be. I think what we're seeing also is a lot more of the application. So there's a lot more of reading involved in mathematics than there ever used to be. I remember doing a lot of assignments that never involved a letter other than the variable. You never had to read a word. We're really focused now on math in context, the application of mathematics, and how are we going to get that meaningful. It only is meaningful if you can see where you're applying it. So it is a lot more rigorous in the sense that we have to think a lot more and be able to use our literacy skills to be able to read with depth so that we can do the math with depth.
What do you want parents to know and understand about the changes in math curriculum and where the county is going with this?
What I share with parents, what I share with teachers, what I share with administrators in our system, the most important thing is communication. Find out what the teacher is doing. So if you're a parent, you want to help your child, find out what the teacher is doing. Find out the philosophy that the teacher is using in today's lesson and trying to think about how your child will develop that understanding over time. If this is going to work, we need to move away from math as rules to make it more about math as reasoning. And the reasoning comes from a very well-constructed sequence of activities that students build their understanding. We can't jump ahead to the rule if we're not sure of the reasoning that leads to that rule. So for parents, please talk with your teachers, talk with your children about the type of activities that they're doing in class and support those activities. Don't jump ahead to a rule. Don't jump ahead to do something ahead of what the teacher's thinking, because it's that progression of understanding that we believe is going to make math more meaningful for students and have it make more sense.
And this is tough on the teachers too. We're running out of time, but you do have a math professional development team helping out teachers.
We have specialists now. We're going to have more specialists as we roll up our new budget. It's all about helping the teachers make sense of the curriculum so they can help students make sense of the math.
Very good. Ed, thanks very much. This is great information.
Thank you.
And thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. Remember to visit us on the web at the link on your screen. I'm Jennifer Johnson. Join us next time here on Take 10.